This is a show about being spooked for fun, and the hosts are not affiliated with the attractions discussed in any way, except for those skeletons in Devin's closet. Some topics might go from ghoulish to ghastly, so viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great American Scream.
Hello and welcome to the Great American Scream. I'm Devin Wright, and I've murdered our other host. He's dead now. He's looking at me from after. Let me do a seance. Om, come to us, spirit of Adam. Come.
I was looking at you from beyond the beyond.
Beyond the beyond, and now you're with us.
And now
Hello.
I'm here. Thank you for that seance. That was beautiful.
Thank you. I did an om, which I don't think is a seance thing, but I did it nonetheless.
I mean, anything can really be a seance thing if that's how psychics work. That's
anything can be, different podcast. Okay, hello. Welcome to episode 3 of The Great American Scream. We're very happy to have you. What's this episode about, Adam?
So I'm really excited about this episode. We're taking a kind of step away from just haunted attractions because haunted houses aren't the only ways that Americans like to scare themselves silly.
Let's take you away from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, we're going to step away from Florida for a little bit. Although I guarantee you, all of these are very prevalent in the state of Florida.
Yeah, specifically. So what we're doing today is ritual games.
Yes, you may know them as ritual creepypastas. The inspiration for this episode was in light of recent Momo-related events.
Yes, of course.
We gotta talk about Momo before we do anything. I hate Momo.
Don't we all? But also, side note, we definitely need to do one about the clown epidemic.
Yes, we're going to talk about clowns.
That's good.
I have that on the episode breakdown.
But so we're going to talk about ritual games.
We got to talk about Momo
We have
first.
to talk about Momo. Momo is kind of a thing that I know about.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you know that Momo is?
Momo was a thing that showed up like on Twitter and Facebook. People were talking about how this creepy lady who kind of looked like Slender Man's wife came in the middle of children's YouTube videos and told them to like do horrible stuff. Like in the middle, like so kids would be watching their like weird Hot Wheels videos.
The Hot Wheels unboxing videos?
The Hot Wheels unboxing videos.
Do kids still play with Hot Wheels?
Well, like sometimes they have like trucks. Listen, I've watched a lot of kids' YouTube as I have very, very small cousins who I have watched, and I watch them watch YouTube, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't like kids' YouTube. That's a real scary area. Like, this is not scary to me. Kids' YouTube is scary to me.
Kids' YouTube is an enigma, but Momo was this like creepy thing going around that parents were like afraid that kids would watch a bunch of videos in a row, and eventually YouTube's algorithm would lead them to these videos that in the middle of random kids content would be scary Momo lady who would tell them to like kill their parents or whatever.
Yeah. So it was a big media scare for a lot of parents.
But it wasn't real.
The way that Momo started, I think it was on WhatsApp. I don't use WhatsApp.
Who does?
A lot of people.
Drug dealers and international businessmen.
But so on WhatsApp, people could message this account that was allegedly this Japanese ghost called Momo, and you could contact her, and she would like know things about you. So she'd like know your name before you contacted her.
Kind of like.
Or she'd like know where you lived and stuff.
Who's that genie guy that you?
The Akinator?
Yeah, just like the Akinator.
Just like Akinator, but then she would like send you instructions of a game to play, and the levels of the game as you pass them would get more and more dangerous, starting to go into self-harm or harming others.
This is
exactly like the Blue Whale Challenge.
Or like the movie where the people sign up for the app and then the app tells them to do different stuff. Do you remember that horror movie? It was very cool.
I remember the concept. I don't remember what it was called.
Horror movie about phone.
Was it Bedeviled?
App. My computer heard me because it said it autocorrected. Bedeviled, yeah.
Okay, that's
nice.
what I thought. That's on my Netflix queue right now.
Incredible.
But it's just like this exact same thing happened like 5 years ago with this Blue Whale Challenge, which was the same thing. It was a game with a list of things, and they would get more and more
Did not know
dangerous.
About this.
And then the last level of the game was to kill yourself.
Okay.
So there was a big parent scare that like, oh my God, the kids are like, they're playing these games and they're going to hurt themselves and hurt others because of the game on the internet. The thing about Momo is that kids weren't actually doing this. It was just kind of an urban legend that went around, and thusly she became kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because kids heard about their parents telling them not to do it, they would go and look it up and get violent things on the internet. So this happens like once every 3 years. I think it's really boring. And these ritual game scares sort of happen all the time. Do you remember when we were in high school, Charlie, of course. Yes, Charlie. And people stop playing Charlie because you're conjuring up spirits or whatever.
I played Charlie alone in my room.
Okay.
And it didn't work. But I made a funny YouTube video where he pointed to a thing and it was just a picture of Shrek. That was my joke.
That's very good.
Yeah.
There's a whole reason why Charlie works, but we're not going to get into that. And also, the reason Momo is so boring is there are so many better scary games and better ritual games.
Sure. Momo doesn't scare me at all. And there must be stuff that will, so why don't we get to that?
Yeah. And then a side note, one of the scary game is Ouija. We're going to talk about, that's going to get its own episode.
Ouija's getting its own episode because I love Ouija. It's something that I actually have a lot of experience with and a lot of historical knowledge of.
Cool.
So I'm very excited about Ouija.
That'll be fun. We'll talk about that in another episode. So what is a ritual game? A ritual game is any kind of game with, it really in its most basic sense is any game with clear instructions of things to do that usually end up in you conjuring up or communicating with spirits, demons, ghosts, or other cryptid spooky folk.
It's like an online recipe if instead of having a heartfelt story about your husband going off to war before the recipe, you have creepy ghosts.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And so these challenges, and the reason people play them is they often have promises.
Stupid joke.
But it's exactly correct.
It makes sense though, yeah.
The challenges often have promises of very high reward if they are completed correctly, or an extremely high risk if not completed correctly, including death.
Okay.
So they are often used for or as divination, which if you haven't read Harry Potter, it is seeking knowledge about the future through supernatural means.
Right.
So that can be a Ouija board, that can be looking to a crystal ball,
it can be an 8-ball.
It can be a magic 8-ball, exactly. So we're going to talk about a lot of these divination rituals do exist in Eastern folk religion. We're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about the modern, contemporary ghost game.
The stupid stuff.
The dumb stuff.
Because we don't want to walk into a place where we are making light of things that are actually rooted in
absolutely not
spiritual
going to dunk
culture.
On other people's folk culture, because a lot of it is really beautiful.
Well, culture in general. Yeah.
And big disclaimer here in big old bold letters, we are not recommending that you play these games.
I might recommend
No. Listen, I in fact recommend that you do not play these games.
Okay.
Mostly because a lot of them involve things like fire, knives and blades, vandalism or trespassing, bodily harm, breaking the law.
And
do not.
Listen, fire's fun to play with. We've all dunked a Nike sock in bug spray, lit it on fire, and threw it around at each other. We've all done this.
Have we?
But what I'm saying to you is if you are going to do fire stuff, vandalism, some civil disobedience, ritual games don't hold up in court. So it's not like you're going to get out.
Civil disobedience as if this is done in protest.
No. I was referring to breaking the law. Yeah. There's some laws that,
I guess breaking the law is civil disobedience.
But what I'm saying is that ritual games are not a valid defense in court. So if you're going to play with fire, just play with fire. Don't do it because a spooky ghost told you to. Do it because you love fire.
If you must, please don't play any of the ones that involve breaking the law or hurting yourself. Be safe, but play at your own risk. I say, please don't do these. This is the way to consume them. Read about them on the internet.
And listen to specifically our podcast. And share it with your friends and rate it on iTunes.
Because we're going to have more than one episode on ritual games. If you are interested in reading about more about people's experiences with these games, I recommend visiting the subreddit R3Kings, which we'll talk about why it's called that later.
I thought it was the Air Kings.
The Air Kings?
The Air Kings.
And that's a safer way to consume, just read about people's experiences doing them. Most of these are creepypastas, which if you don't know is a scary story that's copied and pasted and shared around different parts of the internet.
And it's also a Wikipedia thing that has creepypasta as a database of all these scary
which I use to research a lot.
Incredible.
And some of these are very creepy and very scary, so viewer discretion is advised.
And The most popular one, of course.
There is one ritual game everybody knows about and has played and has heard of, which is Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
So Bloody Mary, we all know you play in your elementary school bathroom.
Yes.
But it has its roots. It actually started in the 20th century, and it was a game for women to play usually on Halloween night to see the man they would marry. So the way that you played is you would walk backwards. It was usually at midnight or like 3 a.m. So you would walk backwards up the staircase because you had a staircase in your house with a candle in your darkened home. Then you would look into the mirror that you definitely had upstairs, and you would either, with the candle, you would either see a man, which was going to be the man you were going to marry, or you would see the Grim Reaper, which either meant that you would die before you were married,
or you'd marry a skeleton, which very good.
Yeah.
I did not know this because for me it was sneaking out of Mrs. Vianden's 4th grade class, going into the bathroom saying Bloody Mary 3 times into the mirror, and then I think something scary was supposed to show up, something like a bloody face of a woman, and then Mrs. Scott came into the bathroom and said, "What are you doing?" and yelled at me.
Exactly. So the modern interpretation of the game and the way people play the game now is usually, it depends on where you grew up and who taught you how to play and where you learned, because the rules and the effects can differ.
Yes.
So usually it involves you going into some mirror at some time, usually midnight, maybe 3 a.m., it depends.
Whatever.
Chanting her name a number of times, or telling her that you have her baby, blah, blah, blah,
Which
blah.
is just rude.
Exactly.
Because you don't have her baby and you're lying to this woman.
You don't have her baby at all. So depending on where you learned to play or who taught you, she's either a malevolent spirit or a benign spirit. She could be friendly, she could be evil, she could be covered in blood, and then she could either strangle you or scream at you or break the mirror.
Like in Nancy Drew and the Shadow at the Ryokan or whatever it is.
Does she conjure up Bloody Mary? Does Nancy Drew conjure up Bloody Mary?
No, she
Very dark
looks in
for
a
a
mirror.
children's book.
Well, first off, it was an interactive video game.
Okay.
And second off, she looks in a mirror and the mirror breaks because there's a scary lady in the back of it. But it turns out that it was some dude who was building robots or something.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
So the myth is rooted that the spirit is allegedly Mary the First.
Bloody Mary.
Yes, because she was called Bloody Mary because she was known for the
murderer.
All the executions she did in an attempt to get to the throne, as well as the miscarriages she had. Now,
that part's sad.
I don't think you should go around taunting a dead lady over her miscarriages. Like, that's just me, though, so go off, I guess.
The only thing you should make fun of Bloody Mary for, the queen, is the fact that she's not the much cooler queen. You just make fun of her for not being Elizabeth I.
Yeah, that's the only reason you should make fun of her, not for her miscarriages.
Yeah, that's like really crappy.
It's very terrible.
Like to do that.
So there's a reason that Bloody Mary and so many other ritual games involve mirrors. So looking into a mirror in a dimly lit
vampires?
room,
and also vampires?
And also, I don't think this has to do with the vampire myth. That's a Bram Stoker thing.
Oh, okay.
But looking into a mirror in a dimly lit room for a long time can make you hallucinate. That's science.
That's science.
Yes, it's called the strange face illusion. It was really kind of theorized in a study by Giovanni Caputo at the University of Urbino.
Urbino, first of all,
Sorry.
but also Giovanni Caputo, known for his his descendant later, Teresa Caputo, the long medium.
Exactly. Why do you think that he did this study? Also, this study happened in like 2011.
Oh, so it's
recent.
It is Teresa Caputo, actually, and she just puts on a mustache and calls herself Giovanni.
So the way that the study went is that he had a bunch of like 20-something-year-olds stare into each other's eyes first for 10 minutes and then into a mirror for 10 minutes in a dimly lit room.
Okay.
Which I'm going to say right now is not far off from an acting class.
training.
But so even within the first minute, because it's a dimly lit room and you are focusing on a fixed point, it starts to mess with your vision. You can start to see deformities of your own face. People saw monsters, people saw animals, people saw complete strangers, people saw visions of their parents in the mirror. And the reason they started to see such fully formed things was what became known as the Caputo effect, which means that when you see broken parts of something, your brain kind of starts to fill in the gaps. So even if you saw, like, maybe your face was slightly altered, your brain started to fill in those gaps and created something more horrific.
Right, which is related to another phenomenon in vision, which I didn't know just because of reading this, but if you stare at a fixed point at any time, your vision tends to cone into into the exact point you're looking at, and stuff other places can start to fade away.
It's called the Troxler's fading or Troxler's effect, and it's best known the optical illusion where it's like a black cross in the center and it's got that purple dot going in circles, and like if you stare at the cross it disappears and stuff. Yeah. So like technically you could do this at home for yourself, but like maybe don't.
This is, I think if we have to recommend anything, and we do because Jigsaw has us around the waist with big metal scissors, and he's told us that we have to recommend at least one game. I'm going to say this one's the one I recommend.
This just doing Bloody Mary or just staring into a mirror?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to talk about some of the more modern and famous on the internet ritual games. Devin, I'm very excited to hear your input and whether or not you would play these games.
Okay.
So the first one we're going to start with is the namesake for the Reddit board where a lot of these are documented, which is Three Kings. So it's one of the most famous modern online ritual games. It was first posted
Does this have to do with those good boys who went and saw Jesus?
It does not, unfortunately. Like, only by name. They share a name. So it was first posted on R No Sleep.
I'm like not reading it because I saw a little bit and I want you to read it to me.
R No Sleep is a horror board on Reddit in about 2013 by Reddit user FableForge, who's now become a little bit like a legend on Reddit. So it's a ritual meant to allow you to access the shadow side. Now, FableForge does not mention exactly what the shadow side is, and a lot of
why would he? He wants to make all that money from the lore books that will come out later.
A lot of what Three Kings is about it being a very personal experience. So the shadow side can be different for every person that does it.
What do Three Kings mean to me?
Exactly. So there's a lot of setup for this game. And again, I'm not going to say exactly how to play. If you want to know, look it up online, but I'm not going to spell it out for you.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Because I don't want you to play this. But it involves like a fan, 3 mirrors, or 2 mirrors, pardon me. You need to get a bucket of water. You need a small toy from your childhood. You need your cell phone, a candle, a windowless room. You need a trusted partner. Even though you're the only one completing the ritual, you need another living person.
A lot.
Accessible.
Okay.
So the idea is you set up these chairs in your windowless room at, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And you are sitting on a chair in the center, and there are 2 chairs facing you that have the 2 mirrors on it. So this chair is your throne. So the mirrors at this time, they conjure up the queen and the fool.
Okay.
And the thing is,
my 2 alter egos.
Yeah, it's up to you to figure out who the queen is and who the fool is. They will not tell you. And remember that where you're sitting, they think that they're the king, so you're either their queen or their fool.
The mirrors.
Yes.
The ghastly ghouls who show up.
The spirits in the mirror, they think they're the king, so you are either their queen or their fool.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if I ever played this game, I would just be everybody's fool including when I'm sitting on the throne.
I think by playing this game, you're automatically the fool.
You become the fool. Yeah, it's a big conspiracy. But so you are instructed never to look in the mirrors, not because you're not supposed to look directly into a mirror, but because you are not supposed to turn your back on the other mirror. And they also advise you to look out for red flags because you set up this little setup in your basement before you go to sleep, and then when you wake up at 3 a.m.
Again, reading. I need to stop you there.
Yeah.
Reading this. If you were able to read the how to do this ritual and not see tons of red flags popping up everywhere, you're not gonna see them when you're doing the ritual.
Exactly. But there are certain things that you should look out for when you go to complete the ritual that would signify that you should abort the ritual.
Okay.
And if you do have to abort, or if you fail the ritual by messing up your setup or something, you have to leave your house for the night. Every living person in your house has to leave for the night. You'll be safe to return at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and some of these red flags include a rash, diarrhea, some morning sickness, mesothelioma, which you are entitled to compensation for, the presence of asbestos in general, wild animals coming into your home, ants for sure, the animal or the family member,
a general draft.
Yeah, if you lick your finger and stick it to the wind and you feel a draft, abort the ritual immediately.
So most of the experiences that people, like I said before, Three Kings ends up being different for every person. So most people have said the spirits have given them life advice or talked to them about their purpose. The spirits give them answers to personal questions they may have been grappling with. Not a lot of info is known on the results of the ritual because it is so highly personal, and it's a psychological ritual. Like, a lot of people don't interpret this ritual as a way to conjure up spirits, but a way to access other parts of yourself.
Right, as a kind of meditation.
Yes, again, like an acting class.
Yeah.
So it totally varies from person to person. I don't think this one is that scary, but there are advisements when you see this game posted that if you have depression or anxiety or any sort of thing like that you should not play this game.
Well, dang it. I was kind of excited.
Were you going to play this one?
I was thinking about going into my basement, which I don't have, and picturing some tweens and fools.
So you would play this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This seems cool.
Good to know. So the second one we're going to talk about is, it's got two names, Hide and Go Seek Alone or One Man Hide and Seek. So it is a Japanese game. It started appearing on Japanese horror boards in about 2007. So it involves playing a game of hide and go seek with a living doll in your house in the dark.
This was created by people who just didn't have friends and are like...
It's a great way if you don't have friends and want to entertain yourself. So it involves you stuffing a doll with rice and putting a piece of you inside this doll. This is usually a fingernail. I don't know what else it could be, but it's usually a fingernail.
You would think like a lock of hair.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think a couple of ones I've read about this ritual say that hair does not work.
Why?
I don't know.
Is the doll picky?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But it is very, very, very important for you not to use somebody else's fingernail or other things, because then the malevolent spirit that possesses the doll could then end up possessing that person instead.
Yeah, and you brought this spirit in to possess you.
Yes, you should be the one that has to reckon with it.
Yeah, don't do all this work just to get somebody else possessed.
Yeah. So then you turn off all the lights and you start the game by, you leave the doll. I think you have to leave it in your bathroom. And
just in case they need to do their business before they come and murder you?
Yeah, near a full bathtub. You leave it in there and you leave the room, and then you come back into the room and you have to stab the doll with a sharp object.
Whoa!
Now, it is recommended that you use something like a wooden toothpick, a pencil, or a needle, and not scissors or a knife, because if the doll finds you, the doll might stab you.
I am so confused. This went from 0 to 100 in the space of about one sentence. What are you talking about?
So you have invited a spirit to come into this doll and to play hide and go seek with you. So by stabbing, the reason they come after you is because by stabbing it, you've angered it.
Yeah, you pissed it off.
And that's why it wants to come find you.
This is not hide and seek.
It is hide and seek.
No, it is not. That is like if I went into a zoo and I was like, hey, I want to play hide and seek with your tiger. And they were like, okay, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go into the enclosure, stab your tiger with a knife, and then go hide.
You should stab the tiger with a toothpick or a needle or
because
a pencil.
Then the tiger might stab you.
Because the tiger might stab you, so you shouldn't use scissors or a knife. So then you go to your hiding place and you take a mouthful of salt water.
Duh.
Because salt deters demons, I guess.
But okay, so after that it says that you end the ritual by pouring salt water on the doll, letting it dry and burning it, right?
Yes.
So that's like how you get rid of the spirit. That's how you end the game. But like, what's the game?
There is no reward for this one. Oh, I mean, I didn't want to spell it exactly out, but basically, I didn't write down the exact times, but throughout the night, the doll's going to come looking for you.
But what happens? Does the doll find me and then I go, all right, now it's my turn, or like does he kill me? What is it?
The object is for the doll not to find you. You do not want to be found by the doll.
Then why would you bring it into your house?
Because you want to talk to a ghost. Is why.
So there's talking going on.
Why?
Don't bring ghosts into your house.
Because that's what you want to do. Because you want to have some demons over. Because that's why.
Just get a Ouija board.
But then you have that you don't get to play a game with a Ouija board.
It's a game.
I don't think it's a game.
Okay, we need to move on.
Yeah, this ritual is very popular on YouTube. Oh, also you have to make sure that you burn the doll after you're done with it. It's a very popular ritual on YouTube. It does not have any rewards, but the risk is very high.
Yeah. There's it's so bad.
Feel like the appeal of a lot of these is that you just want to see what's going to happen.
You just want to throw your life on the line in front of a ghost.
It's kind of like, when you're walking in the street and you're like, I wonder what would happen if I jumped out in front of this taxi.
Yes, I understand that, but that's like a result of like stuff we're not supposed to talk about on the podcast.
Well, no, it's
a bummer.
also a result of something, I can't remember the French term of it, but it's called the call of the void, which
Yes,
is
I'm with you.
the phenomenon of like, what if I turn my car off at the highway? and
Right,
stuff.
but those come from like split-second decisions, not, I'm going
me do this whole ritual?
I'm going to do a ritual now. Okay.
So, Devin, would you play this game?
No.
No?
No, there's no, if there was a reward, if I escaped the doll for the night and at the end when I went to burn the doll there was like a pot of gold. Like
a leprechaun situation?
Maybe I would do it. But since there's literally no reward and the only gift is death, I would say no.
You would not play
No.
hide and go seek alone?
No.
I guess you're going to have to find some friends to play hide and go seek with you.
Dag, got me there. I'm so angry.
The next
I'm
game,
so mad.
you're gonna be mad because the next game doesn't have a reward either.
Okay.
The next game we're gonna talk about is Daruma-san, or the
Okay.
bath game.
Okay.
So this is based off a Japanese children's game, which is, I meant to look up the pronunciation of this before and I forgot. Daruma-san Go Koronda, yeah.
I think.
Which is just red light, green light.
Okay.
For Japanese school children.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, the namesake is from a Daruma doll, which is good luck in Japanese
Yes.
culture, Daruma dolls. Daruma-san, the spirit, is not. She is not good luck. So
Okay.
the story of Daruma-san is that she was a Japanese woman who fell in her bathtub and died, and now she's a vengeful spirit. So the
Vengeful towards who? The inventor of bathtubs?
No, just the
Okay.
fact that she died. There is not a lot of context about her other than how she died. So the
Okay.
way that you play this game is that you're supposed to get into a bathtub in a dark room and begin washing your hair. And as you wash your hair, you're supposed to repeat the phrase, Daruma-san fell down, until you have completed washing your hair. So depending on how unruly your hair is, this may take longer.
Okay.
It doesn't say how well you have to wash your hair.
What if it's not time for my weekly washing of my hair and I just have to condition it?
I guess conditioning counts as washing.
That's weird.
It does not specify that you have to use shampoo, but it says you have to wash your hair.
Okay.
So whatever that means to you.
Okay.
So if you have done this correctly, you are supposed to then receive a mental image of a Japanese woman standing and then slipping and falling in her bathtub, hitting her head on a rusty tap and gouging her eye out.
Right. Which would prompt you to say,
why did you fall in the bathtub?
okay, I have a problem here
Yeah.
because supposedly when the idea is that like the spirit gives you the mental image.
Yes.
However, I just read this on Creepypasta. Of course I'm going to get the mental image of a dang lady falling down in her bathtub.
That's why this ritual works, because you know you're supposed to receive that image. So
Adam,
you
it
get
doesn't work.
But no, that's why it works.
A lady doesn't come into my bathtub and murder me.
Well, that's not what happens in the game.
Oh,
so then
well, what's
you
the
go to
point
bed.
then?
Is the next part of the game.
Oh, nice.
Now that you've had your little shower.
You washed your hair
you've
and
washed
you're
your
going
hair,
to bed.
And now it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Now the game begins as soon as you open your eyes the next morning. So basically
my
what happens in
God.
this game is that you are playing red light, green light with Daruma-san. So throughout your whole day, she's going to follow you around out of the corner of your eye. You are never supposed to turn around and look at her directly, but you're supposed to keep an eye on her out of the corner of your eye and make sure she doesn't get too close. So if she does get too close to you, you're supposed to say tomare, which makes her go away.
Like red light.
Yeah. Sort of like saying red light. If she gets too close to you, and you cannot let her catch you.
Okay.
Don't let her
this
get
feels
too
like
close.
a Slender Man.
Yeah, similar. And so to end the game, you're supposed to say kita, which is I cut you loose.
Okay.
And swipe your arm down in a cutting motion. Now you can only do this when she is close enough for you to see her. You can't just do it like as soon as you wake up and be like, I win.
Where does she start?
So she starts relatively far away from you. It doesn't say how long.
Okay.
However, it does say that if you should not play this game again because she'll start wherever she left off.
Oh.
So throughout the day, she gets closer and closer to you.
Okay.
So if you play the game again, she'll start wherever she left off, giving you way less time to cut her loose.
Okay.
So if you did it correctly and you cut her off and she was close enough, then you win. And you must finish the game and cut her loose before midnight, or else you're giving her permission to enter your dreams. And again,
of course.
the most important thing, do not let her catch you.
In the dream or in real life?
In either.
Okay.
I mean, if she gets into your dreams, it's pretty much over for you. but
Got it.
while you're still playing and awake, do not let her catch you.
Well, like, if she catches me, does she kill me?
Again, it doesn't, like, there have been no records of what happens if she catches you.
Okay.
Because no one's ever lived to tell the tale.
Because I like the idea that if she doesn't catch you by midnight and she just enters your dream, then you just have, like, a dream friend. Like, now she's trapped in your dream forever. Because she can't come back out of your dream. That doesn't make any logical sense, you know? I want a sleep friend, Adam. I want a friend that comes to me in the sleeping hours.
That is called a significant other who you share a bed with.
Ezra doesn't enter my dreams like that SpongeBob episode. I wish he did.
I really, as a kid, thought that's how dreams worked. That you could just walk in other people's dreams. Like, that's awesome.
Like a big cloud above their head.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Anyway, we're...
would you play this game?
No.
No?
No.
You wouldn't play with Daruma-san?
No.
Okay. We have reached the last one we're going to talk about, and my absolute favorite ritual game, because I think it's horrifying. It's called The Man in the Fields.
Okay.
So instead of doing like a little
Which
mini
also
breaks,
was like my goal for life, was to just end up to be a man in the fields. And now you're going to ruin that image for me.
Drive by you on the highway and it's that man in the fields.
No, there's no highway near it. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I just live my life in the fields.
So instead of breaking this down for you, I'm just going to read you an abridged version of it, because the actual version is a little longer than this, but I wanted to cut it down so it's not just me reading you things for a long time. So the claim is that the game has been passed down for centuries and originated in medieval Britain. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that don't sound like... That dog don't hunt.
I'm going to think that it started on Reddit, but hey, I don't know.
In the far-flung reaches of Reddit.
We'll begin The Man in the Fields.
Okay.
Perhaps we can put some spooky music under this.
Yeah, here comes the spooky music.
So, if completed successfully, the ritual will ensure you 1 year of safety, physical, fiscal, and or mental, depending on the events that ensue in the ritual.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yes, so this is one of the ones with the rewards, and these depend on how many hours before midnight you begin the ritual, no more than 3 and no less than 1.
So we're safe. So this is a test ride for us.
What do you
right
mean?
Now. We're doing the ritual right now.
Yeah,
together.
we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
The total safety, which is the highest reward of the ritual, will only come to you if you complete it in an hour or less, so start an hour before midnight, but it's reported that it's pretty much impossible, and you'll hear why as I explain how it works.
Okay.
So you will need a house in the backyard.
Well, dag.
We're
Didn't
already
get that.
out.
Yeah.
You will need a candle, a crucifix, and a watch or clock. You cannot use your cell phone for this. You can also not use your cell phone for a light source. You have to use a candle.
Okay.
So to begin the ritual, make sure it is late enough for no one to be around outside. And
so we're double done.
Yeah.
Because we live in greatest in the world, you know?
Yeah. Make sure the sun is set, and there is the being in the ritual is based around that the ritual is based around will not appear if anyone other than the summoner is around to detect his presence.
Okay.
So you really have to have like a house in
your own house
field somewhere where nobody else lives and you have no neighbors, or you kick out.
Which, if that was if that's where I was, I would already be happy enough that I don't need a year of safety. I'm already safe for the rest of my life. I'm in the fields.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either get one of those or kick out your whole family for the night. Put them up in a nice hotel. So then light your candle. Go out into your yard and whisper 7 times. But who will scare the crows away while facing the house?
Okay.
On the 7th whisper, you should hear from behind you, "That's not your biggest problem."
Okay.
Walk back to the house without looking back, and as soon as you reach the house, get inside and close the door.
Can I look out the door window?
No, we will get to that.
Okay.
It's very important that you do not do that. We will get to that.
Okay.
Now the ritual begins.
Okay.
So now everything in your house that has the ability to open has opened.
What about my third eye?
Yes.
Okay.
Every jar, every bottle, every box, every Tupperware, every bag, every drawer, every door, every app on your phone, every app on your computer, everything that has the ability to open in some sense of the word is now open.
What about the flue in my lovely brick fireplace?
Open.
What about all my emails?
Open.
That's nice. It removes the badge icon from my phone. What about...
Don't say it.
No, what about my inability to process my trauma?
Your inner self.
Yeah.
You now open.
Yeah. Do I open to processing my trauma?
I'm going to say everything physical that can open has opened.
Okay.
So now the ritual begins. Take your crucifix into a room with only one door, close the door, and leave it there. This will be your safe room in case the ritual goes wrong.
Okay.
Make sure everything, before you close that door, make sure everything in that room is closed.
In there.
Yes, in your safe
Okay.
room. Your goal of the ritual is to close everything that opened before your watch reaches midnight.
Okay.
Like, this sounds easy, but think about everything in your house that can open.
Yeah.
And like the tricky part isn't closing everything, it's remembering everything.
Right.
So as you make way through your darkened house, you will notice that out of the corner of your eye, you'll be able to see a man dressed in simple farmer's clothes.
Yes.
His skin is ash gray. Don't look at him, and whatever you do, do not look at him directly in the eyes, but do not be afraid of him. This is not the man in the fields.
Okay, this is just a dude.
He is merely a herald, a referee of sorts to make sure that you're closing every container. He'll follow you, but he will not get in your way.
How courteous.
Yeah, thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you, field grandpa.
So now we get to your question. Make sure that you do not look out into your backyard. If you do, you will notice that there is a scarecrow that wasn't there before.
Because he's scaring off the crows.
Yes.
He's solved. The reason he said that's
why
not
you
your
asked the
biggest
question.
problem. No, but that's why he was like, that's not your biggest problem. I'll handle that.
Exactly.
Before this, it was your biggest problem, but that's not your biggest problem. Now I got you.
So the scarecrow's head is a cow skull, and its limbs are impossibly long versions of a human being's arms and legs. The only thing that is missing is a head. If you fail the ritual or do not reach
Your head will be the head.
Yes, or do not reach your safe room in time, he will take yours. This is the man in the fields.
Incredible.
If you look into the backyard, he will come after you.
Okay.
If you don't look in the backyard, don't see the post, and don't see the scarecrow, you will have until midnight to complete the ritual. If you are 100% sure that everything in your house that can open is closed, make your way to bed and go to sleep. If you did look out in the backyard, the man in the fields will get down off his scarecrow post. He will look at you,
Yes.
and he will begin sprinting.
Yes.
You have a minute at most to get to your safe room. Run inside and lock it tight, and double check to see if everything is closed inside. You will have to endure him scratching and clawing at the door,
yeah.
shrieking threats and promises of mercy if you open the door. Whatever he says or does, do not open the door. There is no situation in which you should confront the man in the fields.
Okay.
Good luck and stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe out there, Spooker fans.
Questions?
I don't have many.
Okay.
But so like I'm already in my safe room. The man in the fields, I done.
You've looked at the man in the fields?
I done screwed up. I looked that cow right in the eyes because he's kind of sexy. And
please don't sexualize the man in the fields on my podcast.
I got up there to my good friend Jesus on the cross in my.
Are you saying you went into your backyard to talk to the man in the fields, or you just looked at him through the window?
I just looked at him through the window.
Okay.
And then I looked him in the eyes, and I was definitely turned on, but also I was very scared because he started sprinting at me.
Sprinting at
which
you.
I do really like the image of.
It's a very frightening image.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it in my brain right now, and I don't like it.
I'm going to show you the image that accompanies this creepypasta. But continue.
But so. Like, what's stopping me from like taking a Z-Quil, popping in some earplugs, and going to sleep? Oh, that's like a Slender's man.
If you open the Z-Quil bottle, he can come through that.
Oh, what? But what if it's a pack? What if it's
he can come through that?
That's not.
Can you open a pack?
What if I, before starting the ritual, put 2 Z-Quil next to the crucifix in the room?
Oh, you're not supposed to go to sleep. If you've looked at the man in the fields, you are not supposed to go to sleep.
Am I allowed to go to sleep, or am I just not supposed to? What happens?
What question is that?
Because what opens when I go to sleep?
Your mouth.
Do I have to keep my mouth closed the whole night?
Yep.
How am I gonna thank the old man that's heralding my coming fiscal safety for the following year?
First of all, sign language.
Incredible.
B, he'll disappear anyway as soon as if the man in the fields gets down off his post.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
You can thank him when you wake up in the morning and you are safe. Just thank the ether and he'll know. He'll know.
I'm glad he'll know. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna say I will not play this game.
You would not play this game.
Actually, no, I would.
You would? See, I think this is the scariest one I've read.
Adam, I love you to death. I love our spooky fun time podcast.
Yeah.
But when I went into even if I've been in this place for years and I'm starting to hallucinate and I go out and I whisper this thing and the cow skull man whispers in my ear, that's not your biggest problem. When I go inside my house, my jars of marmalade will not be open. So yes, I'd play this game.
See, the loopholes, people have asked if can you play this game in a brand spanking new empty house?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Can I play it in a 5x5 shack?
Yeah,
that
that's
I
the
made?
downfall of this ritual is that as soon as you come back
Real
inside
estate is so
and see that
expensive.
everything in your house is not open, you go, well, darn, this game isn't real.
And I'm not going to be safe fiscally for the next year, and I don't even get a cool scarecrow.
Yeah.
Wait,
You do not get to keep the man in the field.
What?
He will disappear in the
Also-
morning if you complete the ritual correctly.
We'll post that, a link to that picture on Facebook or something.
Mm-hmm.
That is not as scary of
You
an
don't think
image
that's
that I
scary?
was. No, I'm picturing a big wooden post with a cow skull mounted on top of it and stretching out.
That would be way less scary.
No. Just wait. We got a post going up, and then out from the sides, from the post, I'm just imagining human limbs that just stretch out to the horizon. I wasn't expecting some Slender Man stuff. I'm used to that.
There's also this one.
Oh, I'm kind of into that.
You like
That's
that
cool.
one?
I would print that out and mount that on my wall.
Would you?
Yeah, allow
As
the
a
man-
tribute, paying tribute to the man in the fields.
Yeah, except I want to pay tribute to the nice farmer man from American Gothic.
Thank you, Grandpa Joe.
Thank you, Grandpa Joe. That's going to do it.
Yeah, I had fun.
For this episode of the podcast. If you liked this podcast, please be sure to subscribe on iTunes.
Yes, we will definitely do more ritual games in the future. If you are interested in reading more about people's experiences with ritual games, you can visit the Reddit thread R3Kings, or a really great website that I use a lot to research is theghostinmymachine.com. They do a series called The Most Dangerous Games where they just post the instructions for all these rituals, and they're very interesting.
The Most Dangerous Games, which is a reference to the short story The Most Dangerous Game, which me and a friend of yours, Henry Ainsworth, and a friend of mine, Carol Alt, covered on an episode of We've Lost the Plot, which you can also find on
Are you
iTunes.
plugging your
I'm plugging
your
my
dead
own
podcast?
dead podcast. Season 2 coming soon. But thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us at Great Screen Pod on Twitter, or like us on Facebook at /Great Screen Pod.
At the Great American Scream.
You can find our website at thegreatamericanscream.com. You can find our podcast wherever podcasts are posted. So if iTunes is your thing, rate, subscribe, and review. And I'm going to yell at this Mac once again. And a quick thank you to Michael Segudo for recording our intro to the podcast. I think that's going to do it for us.
I think so.
So I've been Devin Wright.
I've been Adam O'Connell.
And hopefully you've been spooked.